Hello, I am Selena Cruz and I'm going to talk about the Cuban Revolution. Let's go back in time to understand the roots of the conflict. It was 1868 and Cuba was fighting to gain its independence back from Spain. It wasn't until 1898 that the United States interfered as a liberator in the conflict to help Cuba. At this time, the Treaty of Paris was signed, in which Spain was obligated to give away Cuba and other three countries that it had in its power. But Cuba wasn't officially annexed, which meant it wasn't free at all as everyone thought. In 1901, the United States made Cuba sign the Platt Amendment. But what is the Platt Amendment? The Platt Amendment was a clause imposed by the United States in the Cuban Constitution as a condition to withdraw military forces from Cuba, giving the United States the right to intervene in Cuba's internal affairs when considered necessary. Even though Cuba was officially a republic, the United States took occupancy over it, using it as a tourist center for their own economic and political interests. All this led to many consequences that transformed into the causes of the Cuban Revolution. With the United States' control over Cuba, the consequences began to arise in the country, like poverty, scarcity, persecution, unemployment, illiteracy, corrupt dictators, disposition of land, lack of medical services, social injustice, brutal tactics and terrorism to suppress opposition, and the most important one, economic dependency on the United States. This dependency included the United States' control over the banks, railways, casinos, sugar, tobacco, coffee, oil, fruit production, zinc, copper, and lead mines belonging to Cuba. And in the other way, the things that Cuba needed but couldn't produce were sold to them by the United States, creating a circle of trading for Cuba only between it and the United States, without the possibility of external trading with other countries. All these consequences transformed into the main cause of the Cuban Revolution, in which the young socialist Fidel Castro aimed to overthrow the government of dictator Fulgencio Batista, a governor with mutual cooperation with the United States and no care over his own people. Castro started movements to take out Batista from the power, the most important ones being the Moncada barracks attack and the guerrilla warfare. After 6 years, all the effort from Castro and the revolutionaries bore fruit and Batista ran out of the country. Castro reformed Cuba's economic system along communist principles, allied Cuba with the Soviet Union, and arrested dissenters. This inspired communist revolutions elsewhere in the region and gained an ongoing conflict with the United States, as Cuba began to receive aid from the Soviet Union, leading to all diplomatic relations between Cuba and the United States coming to an end. Then, after the Cuban Missile Crisis, relations ended with the Soviet Union as Castro realized that they were unreliable. The three peace actions that were not implemented but could have avoided the Cuban Revolution. Number 1. Support everyone in expressing their thoughts, respecting differences, and treating everyone with dignity. The government of Fulgencio Batista could have listened to its citizens and respected their rights instead of exploiting them selfishly to become richer or gain more benefits from the United States government. This would have improved the country and the quality of life for its citizens, avoiding the widespread dissatisfaction, suffering, deaths, and most importantly, the revolutionary movements against Batista's own government. Number 2. Create spaces where agreements can be reached, encouraging respect and honesty. Fidel Castro could have organized a campaign to represent the discontent of the Cuban people, expressing the demands they had to improve the country and their quality of life. This could have raised awareness and inspired people to unite for change, instead of going straight into revolution. In this way, a peaceful agreement could have been reached, avoiding all the suffering, dissatisfaction, deaths, and conflicts that eventually involve foreign countries. Number 3. Create spaces to talk and listen to others with respect and willingness to understand each other. Fulgencio Batista could have changed his dictatorship to a more democratic type of government. This would have made his citizens feel more included and heard. With a more democratic government, free elections, separation of powers, and respect for human rights could have been implemented. In this way, the government of Cuban citizens could have worked together to make Cuba a better country. Thank you.